right. This is a video about love, relationships, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you want to call it. And I would limit this kind of advice to an Indian audience because they have Indian values, Indianism, as you call it, Indian behavior, Indian mentality, Indian everything, India, India, India. Okay. And I've taken permission from the client, the father, to share this. Obviously, the main identity or details will be skipped where you can identify the person. Okay. Why am I sharing this? The reason why I'm sharing this in this video is because whether you like it or not, um, emotions, feelings, especially for young men, it'll always be undeniable reality. You can watch how much ever Andrew Tate you want. You can listen to all the YouTubers who say alpha male and be a man and macho and fight the matrix and keep those bitches in their place. And end of the day, when you do fall in love or when you do feel close to someone, when emotions take over, it becomes very hard to think logically. Now, mind you, that's not a bad thing. Huh? That's not a bad thing to what these YouTubers claim. They like to show that they're invincible. Andrew Tate doesn't feel anything. Yo, he'll keep all these bitches in place. He'll have 10, 20 females. And I don't know, for some reason, there is this sense of bravado that a lot of young men, I keep those females as they are. I don't trust them. I don't fall for all this shit. I'm not a simp. Stop. Just stop it. I mean, it's like people are trying so hard to be perfect, to show or advertise. I am a alpha male. I don't feel anything. They have a kind of sense of pride. Oh, I can get whichever female I want. There are some clients of mine who have money, who have a career, who have a great job, who occupy a senior position. And they're like, Loy, I can get girls, man. I can get girls every day, a new girl in my apartment. And they are so hot. And then you get these, rebels who like to show expensive cars and the girls with their big booties and their big boobies and their BBBB, everything. I'm not talking about that circus show. I'm not talking of those gimmicks. That is a very shallow representation. It's like, to give you an idea, it is like buying something to take a photograph to show it to the whole world. Hey, look, and everyone like, wow, man, this is amazing, and so many likes and so many comments, and then you feel, yes, I'm great. No, I'm talking about those things that you don't share online. Okay, those things that you don't, tell the world for or speak about it for validation. Okay, so I'll give you the example. See if you can relate to it, and feel free to put your comments and thoughts. This young man, he's the only son of his father, and he comes from a third world country. Okay, and his father really worked hard to build a brand, and he managed to make a successful business. He has a few of them, and because of which he was able to send his son to, the West. He was able to send his son to the West. Now, remember what I told you. He comes from a third world kind of country. Okay, I already said Indian. So you could just visualize someone who came from the village, where the mother and father, the grandmother and grandfather were in the field with the buffaloes or with the cows, and they didn't have a light bulb. They had those kerosene lamps, and they would go to the toilet outside in the forest. So that is how the grandmother and grandfather was. So the next generation, their only hope was that they would get a job in some, say, Middle East country. Okay, and this is where this boy's father came in. He came to the Middle East when it was the gold rush. He worked very hard. He made sure that He got enough and more money, savings. He improved the lives of all his brothers, all his sisters, everyone. Fine. But now, obviously, when it came to his son, after he got married, arranged marriage, he wanted his son to have the best of the best, more than what he would have. He wanted his son to settle down. So obviously, he sent his son to the West to get the best education. Unfortunately, this is where the problems started. See, the biggest challenge facing today's generation is when you have a mother and father who are busy at work, who are running a business, who are hardly there in the house because they have to work 24/7. Okay. The children get neglected. And because he was the only son, when he would come back home, he would always take his son out, buy whatever he wanted, kind of pampered him. Okay. He did his best to, teach him religion, teach him the way of life, take him to India, meet his grandparents. However, social media and smartphones and the internet, and when you keep scrolling, when your parents are not there, well, it brainwashes you. So now this guy, being a guy from a third world country or poor place, all of a sudden when he goes to the West, well, obviously he'll meet all Gora females, white females. So he met a lot of them. And well, he's studying in a slightly posh institution. And yes, posh friends, they'll live a very posh life. They'll go to expensive clubs, nightclubs. They'll go to expensive, 1 star, 2 star, Michelin restaurants, even 3 star. They would have their holidays in Europe and all that. So he was living a kind of Western lifestyle. But herein lies the problem. Indian family, Indian values, Indian son, but he wants to live a Western lifestyle. That is where the clash started to take place. And lo and behold, the son started to ask for, demands, typical demands. I want my own apartment. I want to start this new business venture. I want to invest in crypto. I want to, take this short-term course or go on this long trip with my friends as a group. That zindagi na mile dubara kind of, adventure. So he tried different startups and all that, all in his father's money, which is easy. Things were going okay. The father didn't mind losing a little bit of money, but this is where the problem started. Now, obviously, when you have that kind of money and that kind of lifestyle, the people around you think you are loaded. And girls like a guy who is loaded. Now, he offered a very different flavor because he came from an Indian kind of a family. So he didn't look like the typical blue eyes, blonde hair. They thought of him as a genius. And he finally fell in love with a girl who was kind of his age in the college. Now, what seems to be the problem? Well, the problem is when you get free money to invest in your startup, free money to invest in your crypto, free money to buy a house or whatever, you have no value for money. You just, your father's like an ATM machine. What the father was not aware of was the son was busy taking money from the father. The father trusted him. And he was transferring all this to his love, his new love. He was giving her the money for her holidays, giving her the money for her expensive tastes, giving her the money for her holidays that they were sharing together, giving her money for the 5-star hotels or whatever they would stay together. It's not that she was a bitch or she was a bad person, but then again, when you're getting everything for free and your boyfriend says, this is for you, I love you, take this diamond ring, take this expensive shoes, take this Hermes bag, or, why will the girl say no? Their affair, apparently, their relationship was public. The father also knew about it, but he was not very pleased with it because she came from a typical Western culture, Western values and all that. Now, all this was going on until apparently his grades started to fall off. And this can happen at any point of time in your life when you get easy access to money and distraction. And his distraction was his girlfriend. Now, it was not just him whose grades were failing, it was her grades as well. Because they both were hardly taking any interest in their school or their college or whatever. Finally, when the father did go and visit the institute, he was extremely shocked, very hurt, and disappointed to find out that his son's attendance was low, uh, his marks were unacceptable, and the college made it very clear that because it was a prestigious college, that they would not allow him to continue if his grades and his attendance didn't improve. The father had a man-to-man talk, explained to the son. Um, he thought he drove home a point, man-to-man, man, and he still didn't, you know, deal with the issue that his son had taken the money for something else and spent on something else, even though that was bugging him. He decided not to rock the boat, came back, waited for the next semester, and unfortunately, his grades didn't improve. He had told his father he's going to the college. He didn't go, didn't maintain the attendance record, whatever. And sadly, the institute asked him to discontinue. And now he has come back to the Middle East. He came back to the Middle East, Dubai. And that was where the father booked a session with me because, he didn't know what to do about it because he tried everything, being strict with the boy. And in fact, this is where it got a little bit not so nice. His son tried to take matters into his own hands. He literally took out the knife in the kitchen. It was more like in anger because he wanted to be with his girlfriend. He was ready to stab the father or stab himself. They had to take away the keys because he took the car and completely totaled it, destroyed it in an accident. They had to pay a massive fine. Lucky for him, he didn't end up hospitalized. So things were going really bad to us. So that was where the father approached me to speak to me. Now, see, it's very easy. Before I tell you what is the solution or what did I tell him, what I've shared with you is not something new. You'll be very surprised to know there are plenty of families, especially boys, who fall for girls and they end up ruining their life. They end up not studying, or they end up leaving their college, or they end up telling the parents lies. They take the money for education, and instead of paying, there have been even cases where the son took the money for paying the school fees or educational fees or whatever, and instead of paying the fees, paid someone else. There are cases where the son, the money that was supposed to be paid for rent or other things, that money was given to the girlfriend. And the video is not to tell you that, these girls are bitches, they are using. No. A girl will not be able to use you unless you allow the girl to use you. Okay. And when you are showering a girl with gifts, a female, with expensive gifts or a good life, why should she say no? Why should she say no? But the problem occurs is when all of a sudden the boy is deprived of all the luxuries, the holidays, the eating out at restaurants, going for movies, the romantic sex. When you're young, you have these romantic holidays and rom-com sex. Or I don't know what you call that. Like a crazy sex. You can't think clearly, and because he didn't get all this, suddenly all of it was shut down. The massive withdrawal symptom was, I can't live without this girl, I'll kill myself, and this and that. Now, I did speak to the guy. I did make him understand that this is not your money. This is your father's money. If you really want the girl, you need to have your own money. And, as stupid as it sounds, he said, okay, fine, I'll earn my own money. So I told him, fine, go out now, right now. Go get out of the house and go get yourself a job. Stay outside. And, when rubber has to meet the road, people will say one thing, but doing is different. He was very brave. He said, okay, I'm leaving the house. He left the house. Stayed at a friend's place here and there. Went for 2-3 days, went for a week, went for a month. Very soon, even his friends got tired. And he just had enough money to food and search for a job. He didn't have the money to keep his girlfriend happy. He didn't have the money to have those expensive calls. He didn't have the money to bring her down. And guess what? At some point, she also got tired because she's young. She wants to enjoy her life. And lo and behold, one fine day, she said bye bye to him because she found a better replacement, which hit this guy very bad. And he had to blame everyone. But, you know, um, he did speak to me. And I did tell him, if she loved you, she wouldn't have left you. She would have supported you. The fact of the matter is, she didn't. She just loved the benefits you offered her, and the benefits came from your father. It was a very bitter pill for him to swallow, but eventually he did. And when he realized that he was not getting the job that he wanted, he assumed he would get a very high paying job. Or, when you're young, you think, no, I bring fresh ideas to the table, I'll make money, I'll buy an expensive car. Even taking the bus, even taking a taxi when you don't have the money, because, he's living under someone else's favor. And there is only so much someone can do, after which the welcome carpet goes. And eventually, his friend found it hard to accommodate him because the friend's parents said, see, beta, son, I know he's your best friend, but we also have expenses. We can't keep taking care of him. 1 month is okay, 2 months, but now he has to leave. He has to take care of himself. So eventually, the bad news was communicated to him. And then with his tail between his legs, he finally came back home after, I think, 3.5 months. He tried staying outside, didn't work out. He could only afford a bed space, and there's only X amount of money that he could borrow. The father wanted to make it easy by paying off all the people he borrowed money. I told the father, no, don't. Let him pay the money. And because he left your house, now that he comes back, he has to follow your rules or he shouldn't enter the house. It's either your rules or no. Otherwise, I told him, then don't ask my advice if you're not going to follow it. So, me and the father sat down and we drew up a list of rules, from what time should he come in to what time should he go out, to the fact he's not going to sit at home, he's going to go and work, and he's also going to study. So, he has a target for work, he has a target for college, and college he's not going to study in the West because he misused the opportunity. And if he goes back, he'll get back to his old bad habits. So he's supposed to study in a college which is close by, report the attendance, report the marks. The father took a more active role into what he was doing. It was very uncomfortable both for the father and for the son because they didn't do this role before. And it's still a work in progress. I wish I could tell you, oh, all the problems are sorted out. No, there are plenty of areas where they have to iron out tempers being flared and to channelize the sexual energy that this young man had. Told him to join not only a gym but also MMA and boxing. So that kind of channelized his energy a little bit there. He does miss the girlfriend because that has created a void. That is one area we have not been, me and the father and him have not been successful because he wants a girlfriend. So he has a new one. But then again, I told the father, welcome the daughter in the house. So, the communication remains, and the girl's parents should be made aware, not like the previous one. So, even though they're not going to get married and stay happily ever after, the girl's parents are not very happy with the fact that they don't like the boy, basically. But at least the parents are kept in the loop, and that's where that is more important. So, why am I sharing all this with you is to tell you that these are some of the realistic challenges that youngsters face. What were some of the red flags which really impacted this guy was one was the one is definitely the upbringing. The father and mother didn't take a deep interest in the son, and they gave him wings to fly and the freedom to do what he wanted, and the world was his oyster. And on top of that, they gave him freedom. On top of that, they gave him cash. On top of that, they trusted him. You cannot trust someone and just let them, oh, I trust 100%. No, it doesn't work out that way. Not all relationships work. There are a lot of people who face a lot of temptations, whether it's girls, smoking, drinking, drugs. A lot of it is there. In his case, emotions was his weakness, and he fell head over heels because he's Indian origin. And he got a white girl, blonde, blue eyes, hot looking girl. So obviously, he felt this was true love, wanted to marry her. have children with her, have a Gora family, which he thought, well, when it's your father's money, you can think anything. And you're surrounded by friends who are yes men, and they were busy, buttering him up against his father, saying, "Oh, you don't need to take that old man's this thing." Different values, Western values versus Indian values. And when I had the man-to-man talk with that guy, I this is before the breakup. I asked him, if tomorrow, let's say, you want to get married to her, do you have the money for the visa? Do you have money for the passport? Do you have money as citizen? Yeah, 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 everything I have. I'll take it legally. I told him, okay, how much money you have in the bank account now? He couldn't say anything because his father had all the money. He didn't have anything. So he said, oh, okay, pride, the young testosterone filled teenage pride. Oh, I'll get 10,000, 100,000. Yeah, when you had a crypto, shipto, and all that, all which he wasted off on that female. And after she dumped him, it was very painful. And that's where he realized what I said was true. And I also asked him, if tomorrow she were to get pregnant, do you have like $10,000 to help with the pregnancy, to help with the food, medicine, everything of the child? No, I don't have. No, but we are planning what? Family planning. I said, stop that bullshit. Okay. If she gets pregnant, if it happens, maybe she would want to keep the kid. Then what are you going to be? An absentee father? And last but not the least, I had to make him realize that without his career, without his education, without a degree, without money, he was a nothing and nobody because everything was his father. He was nothing. Uh, like I said, it's still a work in progress. But the reason why I'm sharing this with all of you is to tell you that these are real problems of real people. Yes, we have a bubble world that is created by Andrew Tate and alpha males and sigma males and all that bullshit. But in the real world, no, these are real problems. And you just don't know when temptation comes. It can be anything from smoking, drinking, drugs, bad habits, bad company, girlfriend, misusing funds, having overconfidence in yourself, or going the wrong direction. This guy, luckily, he has a father who is not ready to give up on him. He has a mother who is, she gave up, by the way, she gave up her career. Now she is full time in the house. And because she is educated, she, helps him with his education. And they're working together in a business that they've created. So there is a little bit of bonding that is going on there. And lucky for him, he is taking his training, physical training, he's taking his studies, and he is taking his work. He is not a managing director or partner. They've told him, you be as an employee and prove yourself. That's what I told the father. Like, let him start from scratch. Don't give him managing MD, CEO. You'll shoot yourself in the foot again. Let him earn his stripes. So anyway, I hope this real life incident gave you some insight. Feel free to share your thoughts, whatever you feel like, down in the comment section. And let me know, what would you advise a young man like this? And do you know someone who's going through challenges like this? And do you think these are real life challenges that people may face? Have you faced any of this? I'd love to read your thoughts and comments down below. Having said that, you guys take care.